Robinson stuff.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, how about this? Toto the dog earned more per week than Judy Garland.
Yes, I heard that.
What?
Yes,
Yeah.
the dog earned more money, I think, than any of the cast members, actually.
I can't speak for the rest of the cast members, but Toto the dog earned $125 a week, while Judy Garland made $35 a week.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
There's no place like the bank.
No kidding. How about this? Hall of Fame boxer Sugar Ray Robinson backed out of a fight because he had a dream.
What?
Not a dream that there'd be equality. He dreamed he was going to kill his opponent in the ring.
So he backed out of the fight?
Well, he was trying to, but then a priest and a minister convinced Robinson to fight. Robinson went into the ring and killed his opponent, Jimmy Doyle.
What?
Yes.
Hey. You got to follow your dreams, man.
Follow your dreams. You
gotta
can
follow
be
your dreams.
chicos.
Too soon.
Beefcake. Beefcake!
Oh, we're all going to hell. We're laughing
Of course
about dead
we are.
boxers.
How about this? The first theater to show motion pictures was called the Nickelodeon on June 19th, 1905 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I knew it
not
was called.
know that.
I did know it was called the Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
I
Did
did
not
not
know
know
that.
that.
Yeah?
Did not.
All right, last two
There's
ones.
a lot of first out of Pennsylvania.
Last
There
two
are,
ones. I like
including
that.
the Hershey. Yeah, we got a lot of chocolate being made
I
there.
like
A Mifflin.
Exactly. What?
A Mifflin.
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 Yeah. Here's a little bit of family history.
Okay.
Okay, here we
My
go.
great grandfather was the first governor of Pennsylvania
Wow.
and signed the Constitution.
Really?
Thomas Mifflin.
So
Lived in-
there's a Mifflin on the Constitution right
Yes,
now?
there is.
Really?
Right underneath Benjamin Franklin.
Nice.
Is there any Smiths on there? Yeah. Any Smiths?
No, Smiths weren't
Well-
that common back then.
Oh, wait, what? What?
They hadn't spread the name into the black population yet.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And that's just a little bit of a Mifflin history right there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's big ups to the myth.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
All right. Dogs with pointed and long faces tend to live longer than those who have flatter faces, such as pugs.
Well, that's probably because they throw rocks at them. They're freaky little dogs.
All right, and I saved the best for last.
Uh-oh.
A whale's penis is called a dork.
What?
Yes. A whale's penis
So
is called a dork.
it's called a dork. This
And
is the actual name
That
for
is
it.
the name of a whale's penis, yes.
So when you call somebody a dork,
You're calling them a whale's penis, yes.
And
And you know what?
I got nothing.
You got
I got-
wow.
Have I just frozen your brain for a few seconds?
I'm thinking about all the time I got called whale penis back in junior high. If I'd have only known,
Yep.
I could have came back like, thank you.
I'm a giant whale's penis. Thank you very much.
What is a sperm whale's penis called?
The spermy dork? I don't know.
A drink? I don't know.
Oh my God! What the hell? And that is Grasses. Straight dope.
We'll take that explicit tag now.
You know what? He didn't even. He started it off with it. He just put the explicit tag on it because he just was like, I don't even need to wait for the first words out of their mouth.
Yeah, he's like 7 shows in. Yeah, explicit.
Yeah, we just know.
We're gonna
We just-
our explicit tag is gonna be replaced by just shouldn't be listened to by anyone.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much.
A
Wow.
dude is a hair on an elephant's ass, according to Edward Cummins.
Dude, he's a dork.
Wow.
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 Oh Lord. Oh, and
right.
here we are.
We're going to do a little
Yeah.
sports
that's,
report?
That's it. The Andrew Grasses Average Joe Sports Report. Woo!
All right, it's time for a little Blues hockey.
I gotta see the waveform. I gotta.
All right, the Blues last night beat the Arizona Coyotes. I still think of them as Phoenix Coyotes by the score of 6-4. The offense just exploded like a porno star's penis.
Or a male honeybees.
That's true. The Blues goals were scored by Vladimir Tarasenko, Alexander Steen, Jaden Schwartz, there's that name again, Carl Gunnarsson, Patrick Berglund, and we got, what was that sound?
That was a Facebook message sound.
Oh, it was a Facebook message sound. Okay.
It sounded like a Facebook message sound.
And David Back has scored an open netter with 0.3 seconds in the game to close it out. The Blues almost gave it away, letting the Coyotes back in, allowing them to score 2 unanswered goals to take the score from 4-1 to 4-3. And then they kind of traded goals back and forth. Berglund gave the Blues an insurance goal that ended up being the game winner, the 5th goal of the game. One little sad note. Alexander Steen was injured in the first period and did not return for the rest of the game. I'm waiting on an injury report on Mr. Steen, and hopefully it's nothing too serious. The Blues have now won 5 games in a row and are 7-1-1 since the All-Star game. The game against LA this past Thursday saw 2 great plays by the Blues. One was a great save by Brian Elliott on Milan Lucic. The other was a fantastic goal by Jaden Schwartz to win the game in overtime. Goalie Brian Elliott has really saved the Blues season since Jake Allen went down with injury. He currently leads the NHL with a 2.00 goals against average and a .934 save percentage. And I'm just going to throw this out about my new current flavor of the month. Jaden Schwartz, in 5 games since coming back from injury, he has scored 4 goals, 1 assist for 5 points in 5 games. Oh, wins, baby! The Blues are 35-17-9 for 79 points. They are 3rd in the Western Conference and 4th overall in the NHL. And the Blues now have 21 games left this season. So they're in the home stretch. They're in the final quarter of the season. There's an 82-game season in the NHL.
Predictions
On like where they're going to end up.
Yes.
Well, they're going to the playoffs. I can guarantee you that.
Okay.
Short of a complete and utter collapse or injuries to like the top 5 guys, there's no way they couldn't make the playoffs at this point.
But I mean, it's hockey, so that's completely possible.
Well, yeah, Montreal was one of the best teams in the NHL until their star goalie Carey Price went down with injury. Now they're the worst.
Oh.
So it can happen. It can happen. They're going to make the playoffs.
It's weird how that can happen. Like just one guy getting messed
well,
up.
The goalie
and turn
most
the
specifically.
Whole season around.
The goalie most specifically. If you don't have a good backup situation like the Blues have, where you have a solid backup goaltender,
right.
If your starter goes down and you've got like Joe Schmuck who's like 21 years old and has barely played goalie,
right?
Just
barely played at all,
right? Then it can really ruin a season. And the Blues have been blessed with Jake Allen being the de facto starter and Brian Elliott being a great backup. I mean, he could start on most teams in the NHL.
So now I got a sports question.
Okay, I got a sports answer.
So now you've got your starter, and naturally, if your starter's good, you're throwing him out there. He's playing game after game after game after game.
Okay.
But how is it? I mean, other than standard practices and everything, how is it that you bring those backup guys up to that caliber, up to that level, where you do have yourself a backup situation? I mean, is it a matter of just intensive practice and training, or do you literally have to go shopping for somebody that's just out of the box good?
It's a combination of factors. It depends on your team, and it depends on your salary cap situation as well. What the traditional way of doing it is that you give, especially goalies. For the most part, there are exceptions to every rule, like Patrick Waugh, who was like 19 years old and took Montreal to a Stanley Cup.
Oh,
I think he was actually 20 or 21, but still, that's very young.
Yeah. That's young for any sport to take him, to like a championship type situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But usually, most goalies tend to require a little more marination, for lack of a better term. They usually require a little bit of marinating, and there's one of 2 ways to do it. You can either keep him as a starter in the minors, and then give him plenty of experience down there. Or if you've got an established guy already, you'll make him the backup. And what you can do instead... Oh, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I almost have to put it in my mouth practically. Sorry. This big black thing in my mouth. You're trying to insert a big black thing in my mouth,
I just put a big black thing in Andrew's face. He's going to put his mouth on it.
There we go. Anyway. But usually the other thing is, it's no goalie in the NHL plays 82 games.
Okay.
It's just a fact.
Right.
Usually they'll play somewhere, depending on how good they are and how bad the backup is.
Maybe like 50, 55?
50 to 70,
okay,
depending on what it is. But that still gives that backup between 10 to 30 games in the season to hone his craft.
But that almost puts him at a disadvantage, though, because he's got like a third of the games to hone his craft versus the guy that's already good is consistently getting, ice time.
And that's true.
It seems like it's almost set up for failure for your backup goalies.
But though, a lot of the guys, keep in mind that when guys are drafted by an NHL team and brought into the NHL, they're given 3 years at like $500,000 a year. I mean, they're not paid a whole lot. And so,
I don't know, $500,000 a year?
Well, I'm saying compared to what a lot of NHL guys get. I mean, if you
okay.
get a really, really good goalie, they can make, like $4 to $7 million a year.
Oh, that still makes me sick.
It's chump change compared to what baseball and football makes, but
Right.
Nonetheless, it's still there. But again,
lowest paid professional sport. What is it? Is it hockey? Or,
I mean, we're talking like NBA, NHL.
Yeah, we're talking about the big boys. Lowest paid professional sport.
If you are the lowest minimum, I think would. Let's see, baseball's like the $512.5 million. I mean, $512,500. I think it might be football.
Football?
Yeah, because they're like $300,000 is their minimum. If you're like a 7th round pick,
wow,
you can get like $250,000 to like $1/3 or something.
And by the time you're the 7th round pick, they don't even bother like announcing you on TV anymore. Do
No, they still do. Well, of course they have
Mr.
Mr. Irrelevant, who's the last pick in the draft. That's what they call him.
Wow. Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
That's hurtful.
Isn't that terrible?
That's hurtful.
Yeah, the Rams actually had Mr. Irrelevant.
Congratulations, glad you're here. You don't matter.
Exactly. His name was Dave Abora, and he actually wasn't a terrible player. He just wasn't good.
Right. You remembered his name.
I did.
That was good.
But yeah, usually backup goalies just require a little more seasoning.
Okay.
So got a little baseball time because pitchers and catchers have reported to Jupiter, Florida this week for the start of spring training.
Hold on.
For your defending National League Central champion St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes.
Say that again. Pitchers and catchers.
Reported to Jupiter, Florida.
No. Pitchers and catchers.
Yes.
Say it.
Pitchers and catchers.
Thank you. Now we can move forward.
Okay. Hope springs eternal in spring training for just about every team. If the right breaks happen, if this happens, if that happens, etc., we can win. If the Cubs were a man, though, more than half the country would be sucking his dick.
Oh, wow. Damn.
It's the truth, man. It's unbelievable.
Damn.
It's the truth. According to the Westgate Las Vegas Sportsbook, the Chicago Cubs are currently the resounding favorite to win the World Series with 4-1 odds. The next closest team, yes, I said sucking his dick.
It just says it again.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just said it. Beep. Now check this out. The Cubs are 4-1 odds. Okay, those are very, very, very. I mean, those are great odds. From just a perspective of that pretty much means you're almost damn near guaranteed. The next closest team is the Houston Astros at 10-1. And then you got 5 guys behind them, and the Cardinals are not one of the guys. They're not one of the teams. You've got the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Giants, and the Nationals, all at 12-1 odds. The Cardinals won 100 games last year, folks. Am I saying that they're going to win 100 games? No. But am I going to say that we might as well just give the damn trophy to the Chicago Cubs?
Absolutely
no. Hell no. You're out of your damn mind.
Blasphemy.
It's Chicago. They haven't won a World Series in 108 years.
The Cubs.
108 years, okay? That means that, like, every person on the earth. What does that sound?
What is it?
Sorry, my phone.
Uh-oh.
Turn off your ringer.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
All right, that means that, like, everybody on the earth that was alive in 1908 is dead. I don't know if anybody's over 108 years old. That means everybody who was alive when the Chicago Cubs won a championship
You know what?
is dead.
Okay, hold on.
Freaking
Diana,
dead.
Diana, I know you're listening. We need to find somebody that is over 108 years old. Find them. Do it now.
Okay.
All right.
Now, last little bit of football, and then we will move on to our surprise topic of the week.
Yes, our surprise discussion topic.
Yes, I realize the Rams are no longer the St. Louis Rams, but those bastard-ass Los Angeles Rams cut 3 significant players who played in St. Louis, one of which I couldn't give 2 craps about, which would be tight end Jared Cook, who should have been released a couple of years ago. But they just cut middle linebacker James Laurinaitis and defensive end Chris Long.
Wait. They have options to go somewhere.
Well, sure, yeah. They're just free agents. They can.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the moves are actually going to save the Rams $23 million in salary cap space, which is significant.
Yeah, considering they've got one of those moving expenses.
The Rams, exactly. I mean, the Rams have got I think about $67 million in cap space, which is huge. I mean, that may be the most of any team.
Okay.
And these were actually fiscally responsible, but it just seems like they're trying to do a completely clean slate on guys who were really associated with St. Louis. And Mr. Laurinaitis, especially you, I salute you, sir. First off, your father was Animal of Demolition. And secondly, dude, you are a badass, and I will probably end up rooting for a team that you play on. But I still haven't decided what team I'm going to root for. If you have any suggestions,